We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, who is the Holy Spirit, and what does He do in our life? It's so very important, because God the Father is a person, God the Son is a person, and God the Holy Spirit is a person. God the Holy Spirit is not an it, but a person. It's a He. And so this is a beautiful time to talk about how we can enter into a personal relationship with the Holy Spirit. And you know, it's so important to look at this because spiritual life is life in the Holy Spirit. So what does the Holy Spirit do? Okay? You know, He does so much. And this is what's so amazing to me, because I think we've kind of ignored the Holy Spirit for much of my earlier priesthood, and I think the church itself, we kind of focus on Jesus, we focus on the Father, but the Holy Spirit's kind of ignored. But He is so powerful, and He does so much in our life. We got to get to know the Holy Spirit. We got to get to know what He does in our life. I made a list as I went through the scriptures of all He does. First of all, listen to this. John 14:26. The Helper is the Holy Spirit. The Father will send Him in my place. He will teach you everything and help you remember everything I have told you. He is the reminder of all the goodness that God has done. He's the introducer to the graces and the depth of love, compassion, and mercy that's ours in God the Father and God the Son. So here's what the Holy Spirit does in a list, a very swift. I wish I could give all the scriptures, but let me just go through the list. He helps us, He guides us, He teaches us, He speaks to us, He reveals, He instructs, He testifies about Jesus, He comforts, He calls, He fills, He strengthens, He prays, He prophesies, He bears witness, He brings joy, He brings freedom, He helps to obey, He transforms us, He lives in us, He frees us, He renews us. He produces fruit in us, He gives life, He gives gifts, He leads us, convicts us, sanctifies, empowers, He unites us, seals us, gives us access to the Father, enables us to cast out demons. That is a working Holy Spirit. He gives us gifts. What are the gifts we receive? Well, in Isaiah we have the gifts, the major gifts, the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit. Do you remember what they are? He gives wisdom, to know the difference between good and evil, pretty good gift. Understanding, the ability to know God and accept what God does in your life. Understand that this is God's plan for you. He gives the gifts of counsel, being able to tell people about God, tell people about what good and evil is. He gives the knowledge, to be able to gather and recite the facts and the information of God, to really seek who God is. He gives the gift of fortitude. Fortitude is the courage to face evil and never back down, to live the values and the attributes of God in your life, to choose virtue over vice. He has the gift of piety, to live a life pleasing to God, reverencing God for who He is. And He gives the gifts of fear of the Lord. Fear of the Lord is a wonder, not to be afraid of God, but to be in awe and wonder of His greatness. Reverencing God, being naturally curious about who this magnificent, loving, beautiful God is in our life. Paul explains in Corinthians there are many, many other gifts built to build up the church and to build up God's kingdom.